Okay, here we are in the Custom Pre live room. We've got an amplifier being fed a signal from the control room. We've got a microphone plugged into stage box 2. We're going to have a look at the two stage boxes, see how they relate to the patch bay and the control room. This is stage box 1. It has 12 inputs and it's got 3 headphone outputs down the bottom here. These are not tie lines, so don't worry about that. Let's have a look at stage box 2. This is stage box 2. It has 12 inputs as well. It has 1 tie line out and it's got 3 headphones. So now we're going to patch from stage box 2 channel 1 into a preamp of our choice. We're now going to patch from stage box 2 channel 1 into Focusrite Pre in 1. Then we're going to patch from Focusrite Pre out into Pro Tools in. And that's going to get our signal from the live room into a preamp and then into Pro Tools. So now we're going to patch from Focusrite Pre output into Pro Tools input. Okay, so we're going to now patch Focusrite Pre out 1 into Pro Tools input 1. As you can see across the top, Pro Tools inputs, we have 16 of them, and Pro Tools outputs, we have 16 of those too. So the outputs are the way in which we will patch the signal from Pro Tools to the summing amp and then to the speakers. So that's our route for listening back to Pro Tools. Okay, so here we have the HDIO, 16 inputs. As you can see top left, we have got an input on 1. That is our signal that we have patched in. We have an output on 16. That is just the reamp that I'm using in order to get the signal in. You don't have to worry about that unless you're reamping, but we will get to that. So signal in on input 1 on the HDIO. So let's go to Pro Tools and see if we've got signal there. Okay, so we have got a guitar track at the top there. The input is 1. The output is 1 and 2. So the input is coming from the HDIO. So we saw those green lights on the HDIO. So our signal is coming in. Hopefully we're going to input monitor to see that. We're then going to send that signal out of Pro Tools 1 and 2 and patch that into fader inputs 1 and 2, and that's going to get us onto the next stage. Let's have a look. Input monitor. There we go. Superb. Let's move on to the next stage. Now that we've seen that we've got signal coming into Pro Tools, we're going to patch from Pro Tools outputs 1 and 2 into fader inputs, which gives us signal into the summing amp and allows us to get signal out to the speakers. We're now going to take the signal from Pro Tools outputs 1 and 2 and patch it into fader inputs 1 and 2. So this is the Neve 8804 with the Neve 8816 at the top. We're going to push these faders up to 0. We previously patched from Pro Tools output 1 and 2 to fader inputs 1 and 2. So that's now where the signal is. We're going to push up the main mix all the way to the top to 0. And then we're going to use this pot to turn the speaker level up. We're going to have a look at this whole section in a bit more detail first though. So this is the master section. As we can see on the VUs, we're getting some signal. Now all we're currently concerned with is this pot here. It's the monitor pot. We need to make sure that there are no red lights on and that it's turned all the way down, at which point we can turn up. We can get signal and we can be happy. Up here is an alternate speaker button which allows us to flip from the ATCs to the little Genelecs. Here we've got a 3.5mm jack input so that we can listen to the output of any device that we've got the correct cable for.